Nothing is worse than having a leadership which is fucking insecure. If you're insecure of your own team, if you're playing, politics or games with their own team, that's bullshit. You're growing and building your brand and your company, your fitness business. It's just like growing a baby. If you are someone who's looking to grow, who's not satisfied with where they are, this podcast is for you. You need to be hungry all the time. Every morning should be like morning one of your fitness business. One thing which I strongly believe in is that if I start doing politics today, everyone would learn it from me. I can't control it. What's up, guys? Hope you are well. Welcome to another episode of Better Coach, Better Business podcast, where what do we do here? Where we help you become a better coach and grow your business, scale your business, level up your business. Today, we'll be talking about job in the fitness industry versus starting and growing your own fitness business. Why is it important? First thing is that, nothing is worse than feeling stuck. If you are someone who's dealing with this, who is like, swiveling between a job and business, सोचते हो आप रोज सुबह दिन और रात में सोचते हो कि यार जॉब करूं या अपना business start करूं, this is for you. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are stuck in this situation because obviously there are pros and cons to both sides. In today's podcast, we'll make sure that आपको pros and cons both sides के पता लग जाए, and we are able to take a wise decision towards the right direction for us, right? As a business owner, मेरे लिए ये कहना या as founder of Fitness Business Accelerator, I can easily say that businesses are better, right? Plus, in my own experience, I have run a business and been running, scaling it successfully. I've run multiple businesses in the same industry. For me to say that, just choose business, it's much easier. But this podcast is not about that. The podcast is about you. So we'll make sure that we take you to the right direction, help you take the right decision. And by end of this podcast, you'll know whether job is for you, job in the fitness industry, or starting your own business. Next is, I have worked with a lot of coaches who spend months and years deciding that, what they want to do, right? Chances are you're already in a job which is making you some money, good money, but you are not seeing that kind of growth you want. Chances are you're facing some problems in the job which are not related to money, which we'll discuss in a bit. And a lot of times, the worst case scenario is that, deep inside, that, I am capable of doing much more, but you are not able to take a step towards the right direction for you. Again, it's better to stay on one side than staying in a dilemma, because chances are that you might be getting the best you can get. Your current decision might be the best thing, but you still are in the dilemma कि यार job तो नहीं better है मेरे लिए या business तो नहीं better है. And again, guys, this podcast is not about dissing jobs in the fitness industry or dissing jobs at all. Just because we have a mentorship, you'll understand in the podcast that, we'll actually start with in what situations jobs would be better for you, right? Also, I spent a lot of time on this. I spent almost 2 months on this, not 2 months writing this every day, but first, when I wrote the first draft of the notes, there are notes available on the Fitness Business Accelerator page. Listen to the podcast also, check out the notes also. Obviously, podcast would be more enlightening because you are hearing me speak, and because I was limited by words when it came to the notes. The post is made in 2 parts. It's called Job in the Fitness Industry versus Starting and Growing Your Own Fitness Business Part 1 and Part 2. Just check that out. Use that as references. It's available on our Instagram page @Fitness Business Accelerator. And also, a lot of times where coaches go wrong is they do not know the other side of the story, and they just have limited knowledge and understanding when they are pursuing a job, and they are never able to understand the leadership. So one goal of this podcast is to make sure that you understand other side of the story also, and that should help. Another thing is that, I had to be like very honest in this one, because I myself have a team of 14 people as of now, the day I am recording this, right? I can't, give a one-sided view. I can't preach what I'm not practicing, because obviously my teammates would listen to it. I actually asked a couple of my teammates to actually listen to it, review it, and give me inputs as to how can I improve, how can we improve the team structure and stuff like that. And we always have meetings every now and then. I'll talk about that in a second, that, how do I take care of my own team. at this stage at least, and why this might not be possible at different stages. Whatever we talk about is coming from experience of successfully coaching and mentoring over 60 coaches who left their fitness job, joined FBA, and now they have scaled their business past 6 figures or multiple 6 figures at least, at the very least. And this is coming after rejecting application of 130 plus coaches who wanted to start their own business also, but wanted to continue their job also under the table. अंडर द टेबल बिजनेस क्या होता है कि बेसिकली आपकी कंपनी अलाउ नहीं करती है आपको खुद का बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना, विच मोस्ट कंपनीज वुड डू, एंड स्टिल आप अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहते हो. वी गेट सो मेनी एप्लीकेशंस लाइक दैट, बट we don't entertain them because we think that, honesty is the best policy. But again, when I made the post, it's quite funny that when I made this post, I got emails from a couple of companies, a couple of people who essentially messaged and told me that, please tell me who were these coaches. Please tell us who were these coaches who were looking to start their business while keeping this job, right? Obviously, fact of the matter is all details are private and already forgotten. See, I do not look at myself as moral police. Yes, I have my own set rules of right and wrong, but in any way that doesn't mean that I can decide for someone else without living a single second of their life, right? It's very easy to act like moral police. It's very easy to, mail people, reply to mails, get in good books of random people, but no, right? If someone is not able to take the right decision in their life, I believe that, they might be in that situation where they can't, right? So again, point of the matter is, if you have ever contacted us and we rejected your application because of this reason, you don't need to worry. Your details are already forgotten. Human memory is limited. Our records are just ours. And, obviously, we don't believe in bullshit. And because see, in the end, if you are getting on a call with us and, sharing something honestly, we respect that. We respect your privacy. So that's never going to happen if you are one of those coaches. And if you ever would want to get back to us, just take a decision, then come, right? We don't like working in a space where, directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, we end up cheating people, right? So that's something which should not be happening. Empathy for the win. So again, if you are someone who's looking to start their business and leave their old job, then, we can help you. But again, right now, I can't even help you because right now you yourself don't know whether you should be starting a fitness business or not, but you will get to know by end of this episode. One thing which I would recommend is, it's very important, आपको सुनने में बकवास लगेगी, but please take notes of this episode. Don't use just the Instagram notes, because take notes of the relevant things which are real to you, things which matter to you, because every human is different. Everyone has different goals, right? Everyone has different passions. So I need you to create, everyone who's watching this or listening to this, everyone who's in this dilemma, I need you to create a pro-con list. एक side पे pros of starting your fitness business and cons, or maybe pros of a job and cons, right? Create that list and that would change the game. Do write it. Once you write it, it would be much easier for you. वरना हम बहुत बार सोचते हैं कि यार, I'll just listen to it. मुझे याद रहेगा, my human memory is great. But if I personally don't like writing stuff. But if I'm recommending you to write, please do write. If you don't want to write, that's also fine. But that would help, right? अब इसमें एक question आ जाता है कि यार, जब I got it from a couple of coaches that who wanted to start their under the table business. They were like, their argument was कि यार, the leadership of our current company is also not ethical. So I wouldn't be ethical. Again, I personally believe this is a flawed logic. Let me give you a very simple example. Someone bangs your car. Someone is drinking and driving and bangs your car. Would you on the next night, would you drink and drive the next day and find that person and bang that person's car? No. What you would do is, you'll think that this person is stupid, maybe file a case or something like that. And then you move to the next level, right? You wouldn't do the same. So why are you doing the same here, right? If someone is unethical with you and, just understand that, you have a way out, right? Also, couple of times I actually saw screenshots from some of the coaches that, their leadership was abusive with them. I did not believe the screenshots because screenshots can be faked. It's very easy for me to say that, oh my God, this person said that. We don't believe in that. At FBA, we are building principle-based businesses over positivity. We don't, point fingers at others. But if you are someone who's going through abuse from your leadership, that's also something which you should be considering, right? If you're staying in and complaining, then, that's an issue, right? So I was actually surprised talking about the screenshots. I was surprised at the screenshots, and I personally did not believe them, right? Reason for that is that screenshots can be faked, right? Another thing is that, if you are facing abuse, if things are happening with you in such an unethical manner, why are you still in the job, right? So, at times, these things are in the gray area. If you're someone who's going through this, try to get out of it as soon as possible, right? That's what I would say. In the end, you should be taking full ownership for your actions and words. Don't think that, others are being unethical with me. I'll also do the same thing. I'll droop down to their level. Don't do that. Positivity always wins, and that's something which I truly believe deep down the heart. कोई hero बनने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा हूँ. It's like in the end, positivity is the way. A lot of you guys are starting in the fitness industry. Guys, when it comes to content, when it comes to your agenda, when it comes to your marketing, just stay on the positive lane. And you'll change the game, and you'll be the happiest person ever, because negativity and shaming others only attracts negative people. So do you want negative people in your team as your clients or positive people? Because negativity is not a one-off event. Negativity is a habit. What do I mean to say? If you attract people via negative tactics, these are the people who love negative stuff, right? When they become your clients, what happens? They show negativity to you because they don't have stability of their mood and they don't understand how the world works. Also, negativity comes from this thought process of scarcity, that if someone else is winning, that means I'm losing. Nothing like that. During the episode, I'll explain how you can build a niche of one and specific knowledge, and how you can make sure you do not have any competition whatsoever. If competition existed, I wouldn't build a fitness business accelerator while having trained by YVS. Team FB members know that if they ever ask me, what are you doing in your business? I exactly tell them, okay, this week, this is what I was doing. This is something which you should do right now, maybe in future. And that's what, because, a lot of things we do are coming out of documentation, and that's what. But if I believe that competition is there, why would I ever create Excel Nutrition Uni or FBA to, show the method which I have been using and which has been working for years, right? So that's a food for thought. So competition does not exist. मैं hero बनने के लिए नहीं कह रहा हूँ ये चीज़ कि oh my God, I'm greater than others. No, competition does not exist, and I'll share the reasons in a second. Okay, so I'll be talking about biggest advantages of doing job in the fitness industry if you are working with a good company. But I have two assumptions before I talk about the benefits. Number one, that the job is with a good and stable company. Good and stable company का exact असली definition बता देता हूँ. ये नहीं है कि marketing पे बहुत अच्छा है, Instagram बड़ा अच्छा है. ये that's not a sign of good company, right? That's a sign of good marketing maybe, or maybe good branding. A good company is a company which has stable and competent leaders. Stable leaders, those who control their emotions, not those who are abusing, not those who are playing politics. Nothing is worse than having a leadership which is fucking insecure, right? You don't understand that, your team is a part of you. And if you are insecure of your own team, if you're playing, politics or games with their own team, that's bullshit, right? Apart from that, talking about circling back to the abusive example, I just hope whatever stuff I hear from people, it's untrue. But if it is happening, then, and if you are from the leadership listening to this, do change it. They are not your teammates. They are your teammates. They are not your servants or stuff like that, right? So first assumption is the company is a good and stable company with stable leadership, who have emotional control, who respect you, who are actually respected, not those who are demanding respect. Everyone wants to demand respect, but those who are actually respected for being who they are, right? Competent leaders, positive culture, and also look into other aspects that, are stuff like layoffs happening in the company. I'm not sure whether it is prevalent in Indian companies or not. I'm talking about layoffs because it's in my mind, because a lot of my clients at Trained by YVS lost their job in the last few months when it came to big companies. Big companies like big tech companies such as, Meta is one example. Meta, Twitter, these are the top G companies, right? But इधर भी layoffs हो रहे हैं. अगर आप company में trend देख रहे हो कि people are being laid off. I'll cover layoffs in detail in a bit. But layoffs हो रहे हैं, unstable है, companies not in profits. That's one aspect you need to look into, not just marketing. Because in the end, there are two bloodlines of your business. There are multiple bloodlines, which I discussed in the first episode. That is your pillars. But the main bloodline of any business would be number one, sales. Obviously, if sales doesn't happen, other things won't happen. That is obviously you won't be able to serve people and stuff like that. Second is profit. See whether the company is a sinking ship or the company is going up, profits wise and stuff like that. Right? I'm not sure whether you can check whether the company is in profits or not, because I don't do these researches because of lack of time. But maybe, ask your leaders or stuff like that, if that works out, right? And second assumption is in relation to you, that you are actually a good coach who's passionate about changing lives, who's giving their 100% and wanting to grow further. So why this assumption? So if you're not a good passionate coach who wants to change lives, who's passionate about changing lives, who's actually changing lives, what are you doing on this podcast? This is not meant for you. I'm very clear on this. If you're not a passionate coach, first of all, I think this would lead to, listening to this podcast would lead to wastage of time. Second, never message us that I want to join FBA. If money is your only purpose, that is your deep why, although that can't be, then our podcast, anything we do is not meant for you, because most of the things would go over your head, right? Sorry if that sounds harsh to you, but that is what. Yes, money is important. Money is very important. That's why you see FBA case studies where we essentially talk about money growth. That is important. But if that is the only driving factor for you, our services are not for you, this podcast is not for you, find something else. Again, I'm not trying to show hopelessness. It's just that, this is how my brain works. And that's what. Next assumption for you guys is that you want to grow further. You're already giving your 100% and you want to grow further. If you are happy where you are, right? If you're satisfied, you're happy, your life is growing, you're happy with the work you are doing, results you are getting, whatever money you are getting, then if you are happy and everything else is sorted, then what is the point of looking outside, right? I think that would lead to a lot of dissonance. So if you are someone who's looking to grow, who's not satisfied with where they are, this podcast is for you. And those who are maybe looking to switch, or maybe looking to get into, you're just getting into the industry and you're like, what should I choose? I'll also discuss in a bit that what should you choose? What one side should you choose if you're just beginning with stuff, with reasoning, obviously. Okay, so let me start with someone why would someone want to go for a job in the fitness industry, with the two assumptions which I just discussed. Number one, in a job, coaches don't have to generate clients for the most part. They just have to do what they are doing. That means they love doing, that is coaching. So if you are someone who just wants to work on one aspect, that is coaching, then I think job would be much better for you, because in the end, as a coach, you have to wear multiple hats. You have to take, you are like a business owner. No, you're not like a business owner. You are actually a business owner, where you are, number one, making sure marketing is sorted so that you're getting clients, making sure you're building a brand. Third, coaching. Fourth, making sure you are converting everybody. Then coaching and changing lives. Then making sure your clients stay with you long term. Then making sure you get referrals. All of these pillars. So basically, how you attract the client, how you convert it, how you deliver a legendary service, how do you keep clients with you for very long, and how do you set up systems for scale. All of these have been explained in the first podcast. Check it out. Got great reviews from there. And that is what. It is surprising. आपको एक बड़ी surprising चीज बताता हूँ. From what I have heard and seen, most coaches who are already in a job do not understand and realize this part. A lot of times they come up to us and they are like that, the company does nothing for us, but the company is acquiring clients for you. Right? You don't realize that, right? Because in the end, when you start out with your business, at times things are slower, at times you're building trust and stuff like that. That's when, you might not even get clients for first 3-4 weeks. This happens a lot of times, right? So keep that in mind. And again, if you are a coach who's doing your job, just look into this side also, that you have to wear multiple hats as a business owner, right? You have to nurture your business like you nurture a baby. मैंने analogy लिखी हुई अपनी book में, 1 second. So it's a baby analogy. You're growing and building your brand and your company, your fitness business. It's just like growing a baby, right? If you know any new parents जो अभी 6-7 months पहले या 1 year पहले parents बने, उनसे पूछो how much time and effort does it take? They would be like, dude, my life is upside down. That's the first thing which they would say, because you know, एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ बेबी का, सबसे सिंपल एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ. आपने बेबी पैदा कर लिया, जस्ट लाइक आपने कंपनी स्टार्ट कर ली. अब एक दिन आपका मूड नहीं है कि बेबी को खाना नहीं खिलाना, आज मेरा मूड नहीं है बेबी को खाना खिलाने का. कैन यू डू दैट? कि यार आज बेबी को खाना नहीं खिलाना, पानी नहीं पिलाना, बेबी बैठे रहेगा. इज दैट पॉसिबल? नो, राइट? सेम गोज फॉर योर बिजनेस. अपने बिजनेस में आप ये नहीं कर सकते आज मेरा मूड नहीं है यार, कोई नहीं, आज मुझे अपने बिजनेस वाले गोल्स नहीं करने, आई डोंट हैव टू सर्व माई क्लाइंट्स. You can't do that. So you have to treat your business like a baby. Just ask yourself that, you know, what kind of sacrifices are required when you are growing a baby, giving birth to a baby, growing a baby, keeping the baby in your womb for 9 months, right? It's a process, right? Same goes for your business. Another question I would want you to ask parents, especially ask your parents, that, you know, what is the most fulfilling thing in your life you have done? They would reply, a lot of parents would actually reply that, you know, giving birth to children and growing children. So there are two sides to this coin, two sides like this. Although this is not a coin, but two sides to the story. That one is that, you know, it takes a lot of work. The second side is, it is the most fulfilling thing you can do. Right? So, you know, starting a business, just ask yourself, am I ready to take the responsibility? Because if you're starting your own business, in a way, you're working 24/7, at least in your mind, right? In a job, you don't have to work 24/7. That means you just have to take care of the clients and you're good, right? So there's this difference which you need to understand. So if you're someone who just wants to coach client, nothing else, job is the best bet for you. It's as simple as that. Second is, when you start with the fitness business, you need to build some trust. I've seen so many journeys of TeamFBA members who have just started from, you know, having no business to business. First few weeks, especially when you are new, people don't trust you. People don't trust you because आजकल क्या होता है, हर कोई जो जिम जाता है अपनी उस पे प्रोफाइल पे लिख देता है, DM me the word transform, right? to transform, right? So people do not take you seriously till the time you do serious stuff. That means till the time you're consistent with providing value, creating connection, showing social proof if you have, putting out offers in the right way, getting your first 5 to 10 clients. So when you start your own business, you'll have to build some trust, assuming that you don't have anything, no social media profile and stuff like that right now. So that's one thing which you need to understand and keep in mind forever, right? Another thing which happens when you work in a job. So the first thing which is happening when you work in a job is essentially you don't need to build that trust. That trust is already built by the company, assuming you're working with a good, stable company, which is in profits and stuff like that. So that's one thing which you need to understand, that, you know, you are already being respected from day one. But when you start your own fitness business, you need to earn that respect, right? Which might take a few months. Again, this is the worst case scenario. Okay, so I'll talk about a client, Amit. First 8 weeks of his career, he got 0 clients. Now he's making 4 to 5 lakh rupees per month. Last I checked, he made around 3.5 lakh rupees while keeping his full-time job. Not in the fitness industry, he's doing a tech job. There are a lot of cases. Right now we are working with Nahid. He started his business from the scratch. So he got his first client around week 4, right? So that is what, in the beginning, getting your first client might take some time. On the other spectrum, we are working with Dipanshu. He started his fitness business from 0. In less than 4 weeks, he has almost made 1.5 lakh rupees. Less than 4 weeks of him starting his fitness business and starting to post content, right? We also helped him with the certification, ENU level 1 and stuff like that. Great guy. In the end, see, जिसका भी मैं आपको example देता हूँ, all of them are super passionate coaches, That is the prerequisite to everything, because if you're not super passionate, nothing would work out. It's as simple as that. Super passionate for changing lives, right? So when joining a bigger company, good company, you don't need to build that trust. That trust is already there. That credibility and authority is already there. Versus you starting your own business. And that's what. Generally, आपको बता देता हूँ. Generally, if you're someone who's thinking of starting from the scratch, and if you ever think about joining TeamFBA also, there are okay, so 50% of the cases, 50 to 60, 70, I would say 70% of the cases start getting their first client around week 3, assuming you don't have any base whatsoever, no case studies, nothing. Week 3, that's like 70% of the cases. Other 30% of the cases start getting their first client around week 6, right? Now there are some outliers who start getting their first client in week 1 itself, week 2 itself, and there are some outliers who get their first client around maybe week 10, week 11. That's the exact number. At times there are extremes, but this is something which you should be expecting. अब मैंने अगर झूठ बोल रहा हूँ, मैं आपको सीधा बोलूँ कि यार FBA ज्वाइन कर लो, सब हो जाएगा, नहीं. But you know, in the end, actual hard work happens when you are putting in the work, when you have trust in the process, you are investing in yourself, your business, and when you are not seeing results. Because once you start seeing results, there's more trust, right? That is where coaching and mentorship can actually help. TeamFBA can help. And that is what, but you need to understand that, you know, there are strategies which can be used. Obviously, at FBA, we create systems and strategies in a way that it's ensured that you get clients. But, you know, at times things are slower. A lot of times things are faster. मैं ये चीज़ें क्यों specifically mention करने लग गया हूँ? So that you guys listening to it, because, you know, most of the times when we post case studies, we have already won, right? We don't post case studies in the hard stage. That's kind of common sense, obviously, but my job here with this podcast is obviously to grow FBA, because when you guys get value, you'll be like, dude, this person is giving so much of value for free. What happens when I join FBA? That's one thing which happens for sure. But, you know, I don't want to set wrong expectations for anybody. I'll also give example of Abhinav. There are 2 Abhinavs. One of them has scaled to a very big level, still working with him, closing 7 figures. The other Abhinav onboarded his first 12, 13, I think first 17 clients in his first 10 weeks. We have just completed with 10 weeks, and we have been able to set up systems and stuff like that. He started getting his first client around week 3, right? But then another pattern which I've seen is that if you are a coach who's in the beginning levels, once you get your first 5 to 10 clients, after that it's cakewalk. Right? It's cakewalk because you understand the process, your confidence is on another level, and best thing is you're able to get results. And results, social proof is one of the best ways to generate interest in your services, right? So that is what also, again, these factors might vary depending upon charisma, speaking skills, how fast you learn, how fast you execute. But, you know, I gave you a clear picture on this. Third is stability. ये थोड़ा इसके 2 aspects हैं. When you join a company which is growing, which is profitable, stable leadership, chances are that you will see a lot of stability at the base level. That means first few weeks. Chances are in the first few weeks itself, you'll start getting clients. If that is not happening in your company, that might be an issue. But, you know, in the first few weeks itself, or in the first month itself, you'll start seeing some stability at the base level that, you know, okay, I'm making this amount of money. In your business, you need to build that on your own, right? Like I mentioned that, you know, at times it might just take 6 weeks for you, right? At times it might just take 1 week, depending upon the case. Because in the end, see, understand, we can't, when it comes to a business, unlike a transformation, when you start a transformation, if you control all variables, nutrition on point hai, training on point hai, sleep on point hai, you'll start seeing results, right? In business, it's about the authority and trust you build for the third person, right? So at times things are faster, things are slower. Because, for example, if someone joins our transformation coaching, I clearly tell them that you'll start seeing results within the first 2 to 3 weeks, no matter what, right? So that is what, and a lot of times at FBA, in the beginning, we start with understanding our ideal client avatar. We start with building a legendary service, because that's very important. Yes, we help our teammates with plug and play templates, but again, we need to white label everything and stuff like that. Building a service, understanding the service processes and stuff like that at times takes time, right? But so if you are joining a job where, you know, you get some growth in the beginning itself, you're getting some stability, right? But Another flip side is when there's a lot of competition, if there are hundreds of coaches in the company, you might start losing stability if systems of the company are not set up optimally, right? So that is what also एक और instability बताता हूँ जो अपने business में होती है, कुछ starting के first few weeks हो सकती है, but you know it's like that should be expected, right? Because it is common sense. Second is law of averages. I have coaches who I'll give you. Okay, so I can't give this example because obviously I would need permission. I won't give this example. Instead, I'll give example of trained by YVS itself, right? So Jan, Feb, March, our business numbers used to be here. October, November, December, they used to be lower by around 20-25%. Why does that happen, right? It can get disheartening. In the beginning, it used to get disheartening for us. But now we have understood law of averages. What is law of averages? First of all, your business is not just about 1 month. It's about average of 1 quarter. That's number one thing. Second, you cannot control psychology of your customer. That means October, November, December, India में क्या हो रहा होता है? दिवाली, New Year's. December में तो लोगों को कुछ हो ही जाता है. December में everyone is like कि we don't care about our career, we don't care about our nutrition, anything. People are literally in party mode. So when people are in party mode, what happens? Would they want to join your service or anyone's service? Chances are no, although we have strategies to deal with that also. We, put out offers in a way that, people still join. But that's one thing which we need to understand. We can't control all variables. And the opposite happens on January. January में क्या होता है? Everyone wants to join a fitness program, right? So in the end, वो average out हो जाता है. So a lot of times as an entrepreneur, especially when you are beginning with stuff, especially when you don't have mentorship, you don't understand these aspects. और एक आधा month ऐसा आता है तो आप सोचते हो यार क्या चल रहा है ये? कहीं मेरा business तो नहीं खत्म हो गया? In the end, it's basic customer psychology. और बताता हूँ कौन कौन से months slow होते हैं. अप्रैल बहुत बार स्लो होता है काफी कोचेस के लिए. जनवरी भी कुछ कोचेस के लिए स्लो होता है, बट इट्स टोटली फाइन. इन द एंड इट्स अबाउट एवरेजेस ऑफ द 3 months. एंड अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर काफी कोचेस के लिए कम होते हैं. First 6 months of the year, first 7 months of the year are like, gold rush period. This is something which I've seen with trained by YVS also and FBA coaches also, that, numbers are much higher than general. But again, October, November, December are little slower. But I like looking at businesses quarterly, on a quarterly basis. If we are not, doubling at FBA, if we are not able to double your business every 3 to 6 months, that means we need to fix things, right? This is the kind of mindset I use. But again, a lot of it has to do with execution, speed of execution and stuff like that. And that's what. Understand that. Next comes situations where a job might not be the best bet for you. Number 1, limit of growth. अब इसमें ना 2 sides of the story है. If you are working with a company who takes responsibility for maybe hundreds of coaches, now they need to, apart from taking care of profits and stuff like that, and answering people on higher levels if there are hierarchies. They need to make sure that, if I have 200 employees, all of them are making some money. Now, if it's a bad month for the company, right, they would make sure that, everyone gets at least some part of socialism हो जाता है थोड़ा सा, right? उसमें क्या होता है कि even if you are giving your 100% heart and soul, you're getting the best results in the company, you're not able to grow at the pace you can actually grow, right? So that's one thing which you need to understand. Although, for mid-sized companies, it can be different, right? For mid-sized companies, it can be, you can actually make sure mid-size is, I'm not sure whether my company qualifies to be mid-sized, small-sized also or not. When it comes to the number of teammates, 14 teammates. Okay, so for my teammates, I take responsibility for each and every person. That means we get on quarterly calls. I ask them, what is your goal for the next 3 months? Then I tell them that, this is achievable, and we achieve that, right? I take responsibility for that, because if that doesn't work out, why would teammates stay, right? That's one thing. And obviously, in the end, humans want growth, irrespective of anything else, right? So that's something which we have to put up. Also, in my company, what I've done is we have created systems in a way for everybody that limits of growth, there are no limits on the top growth, right? A lot of it, yes, there are some complexities, but limits of growth are not there. If we are growing, every person is growing. It's not about one person growing or, only one person growing, head growing and all that stuff. It's like, we have created a structure like that. I can talk about that in another podcast. How do we do that? And, I started building my team 6 years back, and that has worked like crazy for us so far. Worked like crazy so far. So it's, I believe it's good. There are different structures when we help our TeamFBA mastermind members specifically build their team and stuff like that. We use different methods depending upon the coach's style, right? In the end, मैं ये नहीं believe करता जो style मैंने start किया हुआ that is the best style, right? There are multiple ways of reaching the goal, and that can be done, right? एक चीज़ इसमें आपको keep in mind करनी पड़ेगी कि बहुत बार अब आप if you are pursuing a job, अब आप बैठ के सोचोगे कि यार ये कितनी गलत चीज़ हो रही है हमारे साथ अन्याय हो रहा है कि there are limits on our growth. One thing which you need to understand is that there are complexities. When your leadership is working with hundreds of employees, there are more complexities and a lot of complexities which you can't understand, right? So try to understand the other side of the story also, right? And another thing which happens is limit of growth monetarily तो है ही. एक limit of growth हो जाती है self accountability. In a job, you don't have the kind of accountability you can have while having your own business, because you are your business, right? Your business is an extension of you. So what happens? Now, if the numbers are fucked up, chances are that you fucked up. So you stay at the top of your game. You need to stay at top of your game, and you get feedback every 4 weeks. When you see the month's numbers, right? At FBA, we track everything. How many posts you made, conversion, client results, everything. We track everything from week 1 itself. Reason for that is why? When you have the data does not lie, right? Data can help us decipher where we are going wrong, right? Maybe you did not work on building your brand. That means posting any content, providing any value. Maybe you sucked as a coach in the past month, right? So that is what in a job में क्या होता है? Job में एक issue है. If there are hundreds of, एक advantage भी है, disadvantage भी है. If you are working with the small team which is high performing, you would look at others and you'll grow, right? But if you are working with a big team where there are hundreds of people who are underperforming, who are not giving their 100%, you would be like, yaar, this person is also making this amount of money. I'm also making this amount of money. Why do I give my heart and soul to that? Right? Also, in bigger companies, it's much harder for the leadership to track these things. So that's one thing which we need to understand, right? Leaders in big companies are not to blame for this one. क्योंकि complexity है, वो 600 लोगों को कैसे track करे? For example, I have a team of 14, right? And my goal is for the next 5 years, till the time we reach multiple millions per company, I won't be growing my team past 20 people, right? I like staying in loop. Again, this is my plan right now. This might change, but this is what I'm believing, because in the end, one responsibility personally which I see for myself is that, my teammates are giving their heart and soul to me, right? They're giving the most youthful years of their life to me. So I have this responsibility that, my team should be growing, not just me, right? Again, systems can be set up in that way. But yeah, one thing is, if you start your own business and if you work on it optimally, there is unlimited scope of growth in your business as compared to job, because in the job, someone else is controlling it for you, right? That how much you can grow. But in your business, you control every variable, right? So although unlimited scope of growth comes with the asterisks. Asterisks का क्या मतलब है that, a lot of times the biggest roadblock for our growth as entrepreneurs is us, ourselves, and our mindset, right? One simple example with a lot of good people I've seen, especially the ones who I have mentored, is that they stop investing in themselves. Now, there's no right or wrong. If they're satisfied with where they are, that's fine. But they stop investing in themselves. They're not upskilling themselves as a coach. They're not improving their life skills. They're not improving their business skills, right? So unlimited is with the asterisk that you stay hungry all the time. You need to be hungry all the time. Every morning should be like morning one of your fitness business, right? Every morning you act like, you haven't made anything. You act like a rookie who's like filled with motivation. You have to do that. You have to maintain that. There are ways for that. Obviously, management of life is something which is very important, which is discussed in the previous episode on levels of growth, levels of a fitness business, and how to move to the next level. And that's what. Next is one thing which doesn't happen in your businesses is general rule should be, ideal rule, skill, एफर्ट रिवॉर्ड. जितनी आपकी स्किल ऊपर जाती है, जितना आपका एफर्ट जाता है, उतना ही ऊपर आपका रिवॉर्ड. दैट मीन्स इनकम एंड ग्रोथ एंड अथॉरिटी एंड ऑल दीज थिंग्स शुड बी हैपनिंग. बट ये मैंने जैसे आपको बताया, बड़ी कंपनीज में ट्रैक करना पॉसिबल, ऑप्टिमली करना पॉसिबल नहीं है. अब मे बी कुछ कंपनीज कर रही हूँ, बट दिस इज फ्रॉम माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग, राइट. आई हैव लिमिटेड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ बिग कंपनीज. ऑल ऑनेस्टी, अब मैं यहाँ पे बैठ जाऊँ. अब एक चीज मैं आपको बताता हूँ. इफ यू आर लिसनिंग टू दिस पॉडकास्ट एंड इफ यू हैव रीच दिस स्टेज, यू बिलीव दैट आई एम एन एक्सपर्ट, राइट. बट आई डोंट बिलीव दैट आई नो एवरीथिंग. इसलिए मैं काफी जगहों पे, इफ आई डोंट नो समथिंग, आई वुड से स्टफ, राइट. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, skill, effort, reward. This is what I believe, that bigger companies mein, how do you optimally track that? But if you are doing it on your own, you're building that skill, you're putting in that effort, if you would get that reward. Chances are sooner or later you would get that reward, keeping a law of averages in mind. So keep that in mind. And yes, in mid-sized companies, at least from my experience, you can build a system like this where there's skill leads to effort, effort leads to reward. It can be done, and we do that, right? Now, a lot of times coaches have this in mind, oh my God, the competition is increasing. Competition only exists for people and coaches who don't give their 100% to stuff, who don't understand how to build a business, who don't understand how to niche out, how to become a specialist. Those who are just looking at others, copying each other and competing with each other would end up like that, right? In your case, if you want to build business with our principles, we should work on building something called the specific knowledge. That's like, having that technical skill plus mixing that with your interests. That would become your specific knowledge. One example of specific knowledge is, I love psychology and human relationships, right? So psychology and human relationships, knowledge of that mixed with what I do, coaching people in business, in trained by YVS. That's my specific knowledge, right? In a way, no one can copy that. Because number one, I'm building everything out of my experience. I'm documenting everything, learning from my mistakes and building everything with my thought processes. The same way I have built trained by YVS is the same way I'm trying to build TeamFBA coaches businesses, right? So that's specific knowledge. Over time, when this specific knowledge keeps on getting deepened, right? For example, I like psychology, I like human relationships, I like communication. So this is like, 5 things which I'm interested in, which I'm learning, plus my own coaching style. How can that be copied, right? People can take inspiration from me for sure. TeamFB members definitely do that, which is a great thing. But fact of the matter is, how can that be copied, right? In ENU level 1 and level 2, I literally teach people how I coach, right? Along with the science, practicality, what I think about stuff, what are the other ways of doing this, but how would I do it, right? Now, according to, if you have that mindset where you think that everyone is competing with each other, you would think that it's bullshit. How is that possible? I'm killing my own business. No, I'm not. And this is how it works. So always think about building your niche of one and building specific knowledge, covered in the previous episodes in detail. Just understand that. Next is job security. Is it a myth? अब मुझे इंडियन कंपनीज का तो पता नहीं है कि यार जॉब सिक्योरिटी कितनी है कितनी नहीं है. मे बी जस्ट कीप लुक अराउंड एंड सी वेदर ले ऑफ्स हैपन और नॉट, राइट. अभी थोड़ा ले ऑफ कल्चर चल रहा है इन द वर्ल्ड राइट नाउ. ले ऑफ कल्चर इज गोइंग ऑन बिकॉज ऑफ रिसेशन एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. अब मुझे नहीं पता कि, अब इतनी मेरी नॉलेज नहीं है कि फिटनेस कंपनीज डायरेक्टली इन चीज़ों से कैसे इफेक्ट होती हैं. फिटनेस कंपनीज में ले ऑफ्स होते हैं कि नहीं होते. जॉब सिक्योरिटी है कि नहीं, यू कैन सी. Just see, look around. If you're already working in a company, look around. Does your business have security? Yes, till the time you're a stable person. In the end, if you're a stable person who takes ownership and who understands these aspects, there is 100,000% security. Because while building the business, you build so many skills that you become irreplaceable, and you open so many avenues and doors. I'll give you an example. Not acting like how great I am, but example मेरे को अपनी लाइफ से रिलेटेड याद हैं. I started with transformation coaching, right? I built my business, then started with business coaching. Now, when I post about relationships, I'm starting a podcast on that. I have started a podcast on that. By the time you see this video, you would see it's called Impossible Love. Guys, it's crazy. I've started another podcast which is called Being Men. Now that's for men. a lot of times when I post stuff like that, I get questions in relation to, do you provide relationship counseling, right? Stuff like that. So that's one avenue which is opened. There was this month, this is like August or September last year, my conversion team, my head coaches messaged me that, either stop posting content like this, or you build another service which helps people with relationships, because they were getting so many queries that, we are ready to join your coaching, but help us with the relationship also. Now I have found a hybrid solution of that. Next month onwards, we are starting with live coaching calls exclusive for Team FBA and Team YVS members. It should start next month, where, there are calls and where I solve these problems. Again, but that's a hybrid thing. My point is, in a way, I have become irreplaceable. That, even if irreplaceability is in the companies also, but if someday I'm like, I want to start something else, I can do that because I've built those skills, right? And koi maine itna out of the way jaake cheezein nahi kari hain, yes, but since years I have been very consistent. My thing has been consistency. That's something which I've learned over time. Example deta hu. Yesterday only I was reading stats. 90% of the podcasts don't make it past the third episode. 90% podcasts past the third episode. मैं third episode पे हूँ. The day I enter the fourth episode, that means I am in the top 10% of the world already, right? And 99% of the podcasts don't make it past the 20th episode. So the day I reach the 21st episode, I'm in top 1% podcasters of the world. In any way, I don't mean to say I'm great or something like that. It's just that because, I did not give up, right? So consistency is the king, right? Next is, so understand job security myth है कि क्या है, कुछ honest structure चलता है कि नहीं चलता है. For example, in my team, if anyone leaves, right, at their own wish, obviously we don't put people under contract for no reason. But if someone wants to leave, they leave. But if someone leaves, I tell everyone in the team, have a personal conversation with everybody that, why this happened, right? So that, people don't think that, something unfair happened, because, we like keeping straightforward stuff. Now, talking about keeping now, see, whatever I'm talking about in terms of team of 14 people. It is possible. I don't know about 100 people, 50 people की भी team होगी तो मुझे नहीं पता क्या होगा. But I think I can manage it till at least 20 people. And the business can be built in a way that, there are much lesser people and the business is growing and all of them are giving their heart and soul so that all of them grow. My goal with every every teammate of mine is that, all of them should be at least making consistent 5 to 7 lakh rupees per month in the next 3 years, no matter what, right? All of them are at 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. Those who have been with us since a while, they are making multiple 6 figures, close to 5 lakh rupees a lot of times. So that is what, but that's my goal with every teammate. And that is something which is discussed. Yes, that puts pressure on me. But in the end, we have created systems that if the company is growing, they are also growing. So in the end, it's a two-way thing which is happening. Now, next is, again, 5 lakhs is a number which is in my head. This number might just, end up after 2 years, maybe it ends up to be 3 lakhs. Then we move to the next level. But, this is what I'm thinking of as of now. Again, I might be wrong. I don't make promises. Whenever I'm discussing these things with my team, I tell them that, this is what I see happening. This is what can happen. But this better things might happen, or it might happen a little later than what we are planning. This is how I, keep my conversation, because in the end, we can't control all aspects of business, and my teammates understand that, right? But if I don't communicate this stuff with my team in the quarterly meetings, then, they would never have certainty as to their future, right? So that's one thing which can be done. I'm not sure whether that can be done when you have hundreds of people in your company. Mid-sized companies, you can grow a lot, right? But again, the thing with one myth with mid-sized companies is that, you might join a company, you might waste a lot of time there, but the company is not growing. The leadership sucks, right? Because if someone has succeeded at their own capacity, that doesn't mean that person would succeed as a leader. Being a leader and being a one-man business are very different things. So keep that in mind. Which brings me to the next pointer, which is politics. Now, if politics is happening in your company, again, first thing which you need to understand is that, human nature is complex, right? So when things get bigger and bigger, politics is bound to happen in a few cases. Luckily enough, I'm working with legends. We have created a culture where these things don't happen. Everyone has straightforward communication. Someone wants to have a hard communication with me. I mean, someone is not liking what I am doing in the team. They come and tell me that what is happening, right? Stuff like that. So more the people, more humans, you can't control human nature. One thing which is there in my team, legends. Nature wise, I respect all of them, right? You can't control human nature, and you can't even, look into that, look past that when you are working with hundreds of people. But at my level, we can do that. But if, there's politics, one thing which I strongly believe in is that if I start doing politics today, everyone would learn it from me. I can't control it. It can't be like that, if I'm the leader, if I'm the leader, I can do it, but others won't. That's not possible, because in a way, everyone is taking inspiration and learning from the leader, consciously or subconsciously, and learning how to conduct life, right? Because if they have chosen me as a leader, they look up to me not just because of one thing, not just because of me building a business. There are hundreds of things, and they might learn from me, right? So that's one responsibility I bear. So if leadership is insecure and leadership is like doing politics, God bless you. And that is what. Next is again politics, more people, more complexities in human nature, more gaps in communication. If there are a lot of people, there would be more gaps in communication, because leader भी आपका जो भी leaders हैं वो भी इंसान है. They can't communicate with hundreds of people, right? That's why I'm clearly telling that, at my stage I can do it. Bigger stages, hundreds of people, I'm not sure whether that can be done, especially direct communication. Also, communication is not perfect. What you say, what Mr. A says to Mr. B, and what Mr. B communicates to Mr. C might be different from what Mr. A has told Mr. B, right? Sorry, आप ABC में अगर confuse हो गए हो तो बात है कि देखो मैं बताता हूँ, if I have a one-to-one communication with you, chances are कि उसमें भी miscommunication हो जाए, right? Assume, think about your relationships and friendships. कितनी बार ये हुआ होगा कि यार आपने किसी को कुछ बोला बट उनको कुछ और लगा. डायरेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन में इतने इश्यूज आ जाते हैं रिलेशनशिप्स में, although communication skills can be improved over time. But what happens when there are people in between? There are hierarchies. For example, मैंने Mr. Z को मैसेज भेजना है, वो Mr. A से Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. Z तक पहुंचेगा. Would the same communication go? Right? Also, we as humans interpret communication in different ways depending upon our style, depending upon our mood, depending upon our empathy levels, right? So you cannot control it when you are in a big company. And I personally am someone who would be happy making less money than getting into politics, because it's because in the end, say for me, I mean I'm not sure whether it applies to others or not, but I like enjoying what I'm doing, right? Yes, there are at times, there are complex days, there are hard days. There are days when I feel what the fuck is happening. Yeah, at times I also get surprised in the business and stuff like that. But if I'm not enjoying my life for 90% of the time, for example, I am loving this podcast, right? Someone can look at this as work. Someone can look at this to generate leads. I know, yes, both of these are a bucket of what I'm doing right now. But मुझे मजा आ रहा है बना के. If I don't enjoy it, then what is the fun, right? So if you are working with people and आपको हर चीज बोलने से पहले 10 बार सोचना पड़ रहा है कि पॉलिटिक्स हो जाएगी, मैं फायर हो जाऊंगा, लीडरशिप को ये लगेगा, मिस्टर एक्स को ये लगेगा, God bless you, right? So I don't believe in politics like at all. On the other spectrum, अब मैं आपको नेगेटिव साइड नहीं दिखाऊंगा. If your leadership is good, if your leadership is someone who you look up to, right? Someone who you look up to because of their business skills, because of their coaching skills, because of how they are as a human, how they take care of human relationships, how they take care of their health, their wealth, their relationship, spirituality. If you look up to them, it can be no less than life-changing mentorship which you are getting for free, right? So because in the end, leaders have become leaders because they have done something, right? Getting there by fluke, I don't believe in that. A lot of times people say about some leaders that, this person reached here by fluke. People might be thinking, someone might be thinking about that for me also. But in the end, I believe that, if someone, in the end, people always end up at places in the end, you get what you deserve. It's as simple as that, right? So if someone has become a leader, chances are कि उन्होंने अगर आपको दिख रहा है नहीं दिख रहा है, even if you hate the person, they have done something right? So you can always learn from them, and in the end it's about, if you have great leadership who is looking out for you, who cares about your goals, that can be no less than mentorship, which can be worth millions. Now, but asterisk says that the leader should be working on you. Asterisk says that the leader should actually be who they say they are, right? Next is credit for your work. यार ये 2-3 चीज़ों की बात करूंगा मैं यहाँ पे. पहली चीज़ तो है that if you are not getting credit for the kind of transformations you have brought in, right? अब मैं आपको leaders point of view बता देता हूँ. There are companies जहाँ पे you work hard, you transform people, but when the transformation is posted, you can't post it on your page. And once the transformation is posted, your name is not given there, right? First of all, if you are a coach, that is fucked up for you, because your credibility after weeks, months and years would be still zero, right? It's fucked up. But मैं आपको इसमें leadership side बताता हूँ, leadership ऐसा क्यों करती है. I don't do that. I don't believe in that, because in the end, I just like looking at people as how I would look at myself. Before I have communication with any of my teammates, I ask myself that, although this is not a perfect skill, I just ask myself that, if I was in my teammate's place, what I would be thinking, what would I like, what won't I like, and I act in accordance to that, right? So अब लीडरशिप की साइड थोड़ी सी आपको समझा देता हूँ, आपको कोई बताएगा नहीं. नंबर 1, लीडरशिप कैन गेट इनसिक्योर. कि यार एक बंदे के 5 एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ, 5 कोचेज हैं, उनमें से एक बंदा ही रिजल्ट्स ला रहा है, तो इसकी वजह से यार इशू हो सकता है. इशू क्या हो सकता है कि ये बंदा अपना बिजनेस ना स्टार्ट कर ले. इनसिक्योरिटी है. You can't hold that off for long. If someone has to start their own fitness business, they would, right? And this would actually, there might be people who want to work with you throughout their life, but doing such insecure acts as a leader, you might just, lose good people. That's first thing. Second is that, the leader might think that, I think most of the times it's insecurity also, ki yaar, I just want to, this might be the leader's mindset that in a way, subconsciously, not consciously, consciously कोई ऐसी बातें सोचता नहीं until unless someone is evil. Subconsciously, the leader might be thinking that, I want to make sure that no one gets credit, so that everyone in a way is crippled and I get all the credit. Because I am the leader, people know the leader, but people don't know other coaches, right? Which is unfair, but it's coming from insecurity. It makes the leader's life easier. So if as a leader, if I think that would make my life easier, right? But that I would lose sleep over that, because again, that's unfair for the person who's putting in their heart and soul. Another tip for leaders is that, if your coaches are putting heart and soul in it, make sure, motivate them to do that. And, giving them credit is one idea of that, right? So that's one thing which we need to understand. There are these coaches who are not allowed to build their own personal brand. That means post content on their Instagram and stuff like that. Again, that is also unfair, according to me. Again, different people do different stuff. Next is understanding whether you're getting adequate credit for your work or not. As coaches, you might think, everyone thinks in complex setups that I'm not getting enough credit. A lot of times people think that. So credit should be given in two ways. Number 1 is inside the company. Inside the company, the credit should be given, this is my point of view, be given in form of growth, right? And in form of appreciation, but not in one form, which I would talk in a second, because I had a discussion with my very good teammate recently on that. And on the outside, that means if you have done some work, people should be seeing, people should be knowing that, okay, this is the transformation, this is pulled off by this coach is legendary, right? That's something which has to be taken care of, right? So basically, the other aspect is, आपको एक चीज बताता हूँ. Recently, one of our teammates told me that, by VS, that, start having employee of the month kind of award. One small award for employee of the month. My answer was no, that is unfair, because if one person is winning every month, what does that mean for other teammates? That others are losing, right? So this is like winner-loser thinking. My belief is that, If my team is winning, everyone is winning, I am winning. If I am losing, everyone is losing, right? It should be together, right? Also, the leader's goal is that if you are not reaching your goals, that's the leader's fault. If you are getting to your goals, that's team should be getting the appreciation for that. This is the rule. I think मैंने महेंद्र सिंह धोनी के किसी interview में सुना, but that changed everything for me. Although leaders indirectly anyway get a lot of appreciation anyway, right? So one thing which we need to understand is, so I came to the conclusion with my teammate that, we would never have award for one person, because chances are that every month everyone might be putting their heart and soul, right? Also, I can't gauge, even in a team of 14 people, I can't gauge that, who has given their 99%, who has given their 100%. Yes, we can have some KPIs to get results, but that would be unfair, because lot of KPIs cannot be measured. For example, Mr. X in my team had fever last month. Still, he did all the tasks. But Mr. Y did all the tasks and got better results on KPIs. Who should be winning? I think everyone should be winning. So that's why I don't believe in awards. Instead, so we came to a conclusion that, every quarter we'll do a team mini vacation, and every 6 months we'll do a team vacation, which is international. I'm actually traveling for that vacation with my teammates today. We are going to Bali. And so basically that's that's my way of saying thank you to my teammates, right? So I don't believe in awards, employee of the month, employee of the year. These things are bullshit according to me, because these things promote zero-sum mentality. That means that, if one person has won, that means others have lost, right? Nothing like that. In our team, everyone is winning together. And if we are losing, everyone is losing together. It's like, a together thing. And this can be done, at least at my company size. Not sure about whether this can be done long term or not. And that is what. Next is, I've heard of some cases where, people at good posts got sacked because of politics. Again, politics, east or west, politics is the worst. Agar aap leader ho, aap karte ho, you're going to fuck up your company. You're going to fuck up your team. This is like, this is something which I strongly believe. So, just keep things straightforward and have the hard conversations, right? Have the hard conversations. At times, you need to talk to the leaders instead of just talking to the employee directly, so that they talk to the employee. At times that has to be done. But if things can be kept in a straightforward manner, that can change the game, right? So that is what. So basically, credit for your work. Also, a concept बीच में चला हुआ है bigger companies का. I'm not sure किस कंपनी का किसका नहीं. No questions asked refund policy. See, अब इसमें भी दो साइड से बता देता हूँ. For the leadership, business wise, at very big levels, this becomes quite important, right? But अब इसमें क्या होता है? You end up onboarding people who don't respect the work of the coach, don't follow anything and ask for the refund, right? अब इसमें कोच के साथ क्या गलत हो रहा है कि भाई कोच ने अपना हार्ट एंड सोल दिया, 100% दिया, रिफंड हो गया. नो क्वेश्चंस आस्क्ड, रिफंड. Unfair. Very unfair for the coach, because इसमें coach, yes, think about the business, but think about the coach's morale. Coach gave their 100%, heart and soul. Now the person got a refund just because they didn't like chapati in their diet, right? So, system should be set up. If you have refund policies, there should be obviously, there should be ways in which it is quantified. There should be ways in which coaches get what they deserve, even if there has been a refund because of the company policy, right? Condition being they haven't faltered, right? If someone has faltered, then there's a refund. That makes sense. But if someone has given their heart and soul and refund is happening, that is fucking disheartening, because the coach gave their most valuable asset of their life, that was their time. And in the end, what happened? Disappointment because of someone else's fault, right? Understand, a lot of times it's said that, customer is the god, customer is king, for sure. But in any way, I don't believe that, customer can't be wrong, right? If you give people an option of leaving without asking any questions, when they have not put their 100%, it is unfair according to me. So that's one aspect. I'm not sure whether this happens in companies here or not, but that's unfair according to me. And that's disheartening. And, it's messed up. Next is understanding the difference between coach and business owner. If you are doing a job, you are just coaching. Business owner, you are building your service, you're generating leads, you're creating content, you are a content creator, you're solving problems, you're setting up standard operating procedures, you are setting up systems for scale. You're doing all of these things together. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You don't, if you're camera shy, you still have to get in front of the camera. You need to learn self-recording. Right now, I'm self-recording, for fuck's sake. I hate it, right? I don't like using a camera. But in the end, we got to do what we got to do, right? But over time, once you understand this art, your skill keeps on getting better. So you're putting in a lot more efforts. And like I mentioned, in a way, you're working 24/7 in your mind. You are working 24/7 in your mind, even when you're done with your work, because you have plans going on. You think that, okay, this is how I would scale and all that stuff. By the way, we at FBA help you with all of these aspects, from building your service to finding your niche, to posting content, to what to post on stories, to what to post on content, how to make your content look professional, how do you build your brand, how do you improve your branding, how do you convert people in high-paying clients, how you deliver a service, along with knowledge coming from ENU and stuff like that, ENU level 1 and 2, with plug-and-play resources and everything. We help you with all of these things, but in the end, see, we are giving you all the resources, you can white label stuff, but in the end, you have to put in efforts to build it, right? One biggest effort you have to do is spend money on FBA, right? That's, yeah, one very honest thing is, one thing which you would clearly see on FBA pages. First page के there's this about us sections जहाँ पे free resources भी हैं. If you haven't checked out the free resources, check them out. Udhar I think it's the last or the second last page, I've clearly mentioned that our services are not cheap, because our goal is to make you a high ticket coach, right? Now, if we are low ticket coaches, how can we teach you how to become high ticket coach? ये लॉजिकल फैलेसी है. अगर मैं कम आपसे पैसे चार्ज कर रहा हूं, तो हाउ कैन आई टीच यू हाउ टू चार्ज मोर, बिकॉज आई माई सेल्फ डोंट नो हाउ टू चार्ज मोर, right? So it becomes a logical fallacy. So I clearly say that, I clearly say no and understand that every coach who's joining FBA is putting their money, which is their heart and soul. So, they should be getting legendary stuff, right? एक और चीज बताता हूं बड़ी clearly. काफी case studies are one of our strengths, right? Case studies are highly motivating, but case studies do not show one side of the story. Case studies don't show how much coaches put in the work in slow weeks. Case studies don't show when coaches put their heart and soul in their service when they were not getting results. It doesn't show that, how much money they put in FBA, put their heart, soul, and trust in us. These things are not shown, right? How much trust in process they had, trust in coaching they had. They just, blindly followed what we said while building systems and stuff like that, even when they did not understand how these things are working, although we'll try our best to explain these things with logic. But FBA case studies do not show the exact heart and soul they have put in. So I would take out a second and I would say, I'm proud of you legends, everyone at FBA, everyone who's not even at FBA, everyone who's watching it, because, these things are not shown. The kind of work you have been putting in, heart and soul, especially on your bad days, slow weeks, slow months, when your relationship was fucked up, still you showed up. Your confidence was fucked up. You were feeling low, but still you showed up. I'm proud of you, right? And that's story of every case study you see on FBA, right? I try to depict that. I try to write that in the caption and stuff like that. But in the end, hats off to you guys. That's generally not talked about. And no case study showed what you went through, right? So the kind of things you have gone through, from taking up the mentorship, to following it, to slow weeks, slow months, to getting your first client, to all the wins, to all the small losses, to all the no's you had to hear. I'm proud of you. These things are not generally shown, but I'm proud of you. Guys, let's talk about the personality traits you should be having if you want to start a fitness business. Number 1 is extreme ownership. कुछ भी होता है आपके बिजनेस में या कुछ भी नहीं होता, that is your responsibility, no matter what. I've seen people who don't take ownership for themselves. They just wake up every morning and, point fingers at random people, their ex, other people. That is pointless. Whatever is happening in your business, that's totally your responsibility. No one else's responsibility. So first thing is ownership of everything that happens in your business. Anything that is happening, anything that is not happening, ownership has to be yours, no one else's. Understand that. Next is imposter syndrome. At all stages of your business, you would face some sort of inadequacy, and you would think that, I'm not good enough. In actuality, when you are, right? That is imposter syndrome. Everyone deals with that. I'm sure you would have dealt with it, right? You might be dealing with this. I also deal with that, right? If I'm teaching you these things, I'm not telling you, I'm not saying that, I have, moved past everything. I'm also learning. And, but over time, once we have that stack of undeniable proof as to what we have done, this changes the game. This reminds me of a client of mine. So he faces a lot of imposter syndrome, right? So I kind of life coach him. And so whenever he's feeling low, I just remind him of what he has done, where he has reached, right? A lot of times imposter syndrome ka best solution is having a stack of undeniable proof of what you have done, not what you are saying. What you are saying is bullshit. मैं बोल दूं कि मैंने 100 million की कंपनी बना लेनी है. It's a thing in the air which might happen in future, but all I can do is I can look back and say that okay, this is the amount we have made last year. These are the profits we have made last year. This is what I'm going to make this year, right? So वो वाली बात है कि in the end imposter syndrome का best solution है undeniable proof of what you can do, what you have done, right? Solution to that is start putting in the work, right? Next is you need to put in work on the bad days, right? जैसे मैंने आपको बेबी वाला एग्जाम्पल दिया, आप बेबी को ऐसा नहीं कर सकते आज मूड नहीं है तो बेबी को खाना नहीं देंगे, देना पड़ेगा. Same goes for your business. You have to put in the work every day. I'm traveling today. I have a flight in what? How many hours? 5 hours, right? I have to take ownership of what my goals were, and no one is asking me to create this, right? No one is paying me to do that, right? One part is obviously all our clients. That has to be taken care of, but other tasks also. From your lead generation, conversion, content, whatever goals you have set for yourselves, right? Over time you'll reach a stage where you can set goals for yourself. For example, no one tells me that okay, record a podcast every week. These are the goals which I set for myself, but for Team FBA members, we set it for them because they are new. Now the thing is, next is, if you're someone who does not like dealing with a lot of people, you should be building a one-man business. And for most Team FBA members at the starting and basic scaling stage, it's a one-man business only. But once we reach the mastermind level, that's when we start building a team and stuff like that. And again, there are ways of doing that. But if you're someone that if you're like, okay, I want to build a one-man business only, no employees whatsoever, you can do that, right? But in a job, what is happening? You have to work alongside hundreds of people. There are hierarchies of leadership. सबसे बात करनी पड़ती है, even if they are bullshitting you, even if you don't respect them, even if their language sucks, even if they are abusing you, you have to take care of that. I see, joking way में नहीं कह रहा हूँ. I feel sorry if abuse and stuff, all that stuff has happened with you, has been happening with you. I feel sorry for that, but understand that, right? So in your business, you can control that, right? The day I think that, okay, I just want a one-man business, to a certain extent, I would be able to grow it, right? If you ask me number as a coach, 5 lakh rupees, till 5 lakh rupees, okay, so upper limit can be 7 lakh rupees. 7 lakh rupees per month you can make while having just one-man business and some delegation, right? Some delegation means that, you don't have full-time team members, right? And that is what, and I strongly believe that it should be a one-man business only till the time you are at least making 3 to 5 lakh rupees per month. Yes, you can delegate some stuff, for example, designing and stuff like that. But that is what. Next is have an objective point of view. That means understand that grass is greener on the other side. If you are in a job, आपको सिर्फ business की अच्छी चीजें लग रही होंगी. FBA की case studies देख के आप खुश हो रहे होगे, right? But you are not seeing that the kind of struggle everyone goes through, the kind of investment they made for FBA, right? That's one example, right? Also, एक और भी चीज बताता हूँ. In the end, ना आपकी side of story सही है 100%. ना leadership की side of story सही है 100%. In the end, the answer is always in the middle. There is something called third story that is the real story, right? Because stories get misrepresented because of point of views, biases, mood, personal biases and stuff like that. Because in the end, I strongly believe in the end, na leadership की story सही है, ना आपकी story सही है. In the end, the answer is in the middle. And that's what I think with myself and my team also. If there's any discrepancy which ever happens, I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, right? Neither I am 100% correct, neither my teammates are 100% correct. Answer is in the middle area. But if as a leader, if as a team, if you guys can understand reasoning of your leaders and you can understand reasoning of your team, you can change the game. Next is understand your values. Understand what you value, Do you want to give birth to a baby and grow a baby and make it the most fulfilling thing of your life? If that is the thing, it's business for you, no matter what, right? On the other spectrum, if you're someone who wants to join a company in the growing stage, you don't want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur, but you want to join a company in the growing stage and still nurture it like a baby, that's also something which you can do, right? One thing is, जो मैंने आपको starting में कहा था कि pro con list बनाओ हर चीज़ की. I told you that this is going to be super detailed. Pro con list बनाओ हर चीज़ की, and that is what. On basis of the pro con list, अभी तक नहीं बनाई है, listen to this podcast again, use the notes, create more notes, and pro con list बनाओ, because only a pro con list with honest pros, honest cons. Because if you are in a job right now, आपको सिर्फ एक side के pros दिखेंगे और job में सिर्फ cons दिखेंगे, right? So that's something which we need to understand, and that's what. Okay, so I'll share. I'm pretty sure some leadership might be listening to our podcast, because after the emails I got day before yesterday, I realized that, obviously we have good reach and people take inspiration from them. Number one, okay, so these are the things which I do with my team of 14. Again, this is like, obviously this has to be true, because if my team listens to this and if we are not doing any of that, team would be like, what the hell is happening, right? Number one is everything goes from up to down. That means if I'm doing good stuff, my team would be doing good stuff. If I'm doing unfair stuff, my team would be doing unfair stuff. If I'm not understanding my team would not understand me. If I'm playing politics, if I'm playing games, divide and rule, my team would learn that, right? That would reflect later on. Second, we are allowed to make mistakes. One thing which I say very openly is I make mistakes. There are so many times when I apologize to my team, right? कोई मुझे ऐसे ही याद नहीं है कि मैंने कोई ऐसी big mistake कर दी हो, but there are times, right? There might have been times when I maybe scolded someone just like that, even when they were not at fault. But as soon as they explain it to me, I apologize at that very moment. My bad, right? Next is, everyone should be allowed to make mistakes. People should not be repeating mistakes which can hurt you, right? So if your team has the propensity to make mistakes, they're allowed to make mistakes. You have a culture where they are allowed to accept that they made a mistake. कई जगहों पे कल्चर क्या होता है कि यार you can't even make a mistake, and if you make a mistake, it is punished. If it is punished, what happens? If a mistake is punished, future mistakes are hidden, right? तो हमारे कोई punishment वाला system नहीं, until someone is repeating the same kind of mistakes which would hurt our business, hurt our clients, hurt our brand. That's a different story. I personally believe that repeated mistakes is like something which has to be avoided, and direct communication. Next is straightforward. My teammates don't like something in me. I mean, generally ये होता नहीं है, but they don't like some of the thing. A lot of times in the quarterly meetings, I ask them that, okay, because a lot of our teammates are doing multiple things. I ask them two things. Number one, do you feel overworked? Answer is no. If the answer is yes, we create a system. What are you not liking in what we are doing right now? They don't like it, we create a system. At times I just tell them that, okay, this is necessary, this has to be done for now, but long term we'll remove that and stuff like that. If there's anything you're finding boring, right? We have this straightforward system, right? If they're not able to understand something, okay, I say that, okay, we are building a new rule. They don't understand something. Okay, we are changing something in the payment structure. They don't understand it. They literally message me that, bro, what is the new structure, right? And it's my responsibility to explain it, especially if it is related to them, right? Hierarchy is based on performance, not in relation to time. That means, obviously, over time, new people would join, but everyone has the opportunity to grow irrespective of how they put in the work, their work ethic and everything else. And if there's someone who's with us since 10 years, maybe, we didn't start a company 10 years back, but they are not performing, obviously I would have a conversation with them. But one thing which we have done is, right, till now we have been able to do it. Yes, I'm leading it, but everyone is at the same level. In a way, everyone is at the same level. I do have more responsibility than others for sure. I have my team's responsibility also, but hierarchy is based off performance, right? But again, we don't do that. Okay, this is the best person of the month, others are not doing well. That's bullshit. That's bullshit according to me. Next is monthly and quarterly goal setting for each teammate. We recently started doing that. So every quarter we have a meeting where we discuss their financial growth, personal growth, skill growth, relationship growth, if any, and stuff like that. We cover that. We just did that. And I like being very honest on that. I don't say that, okay, we are setting the goal and we'll 100% hit that. I'd show them the picture that, okay, okay, this is what I'm planning and this should happen, but if this doesn't happen, things might be a little slower. So, again, the thing is, I'm very happy and blessed to have legends who are very understanding and who understand that, and who, in the end, we have trust which flows two way. I trust them, they trust me, right? Knowing your team's long-term goals. I just see that, I just ask them that, I like having everyone in the team long-term, because again, it's easier for me also and easier for them also. I just understand that, what are their long-term aspirations. So one of my favorite teammates was, everyone is my favorite. So one of my teammates this time was like that, I'm thinking of pursuing some education also. This was my reply. 100% do that, because number one, you are in an online space. You can manage both. Second, if you don't pursue anything right now, throughout your life, you might just end up thinking that, okay, I could have pursued this. So I told them that, research it right away, get back to me, and just let's pursue it. Because in the end, what is the worst case scenario that might happen? You would learn new skills, right? You might just end up thinking, okay, that wasn't worth it. But in the end, if you're pursuing it, that's good. Another option with me could have been that, I could have told that my teammate that, okay, this is not the right way. We'll do this, we'll do that. No. Because in the end, we need to understand human brain that, lot of times trying is better than not trying, right? And generally answer is not in black and white. So I told my teammate that, it's not that, you will have to leave what you are doing, then pursue something, but start pursuing it, maybe will reduce the responsibilities or workload on you, right? Answers are always in the gray area, right? But understand the reason. So when my teammate told me that, okay, I want to pursue some studies, I just asked myself that, what would my mindset be if I would want to pursue something? And then I asked myself, am I pursuing stuff right now? The answer is yes, I'm pursuing a PhD right now. So this is what I advised. So whenever I'm advising my teammates, I just ask myself that if I was in the same place, what advice would I give to myself? And I give the same advice, and that always works, right? Next, I already discussed scenario where, one of my teammates proposed that, there should be award every month and stuff like that. That's good. But, what about the months when everyone has given their 100% and one person is winning? That's unfair. That's fucked up. Instead, everyone is winning in my team. Everyone is improving. Everyone is learning from each other. Everyone gets their quarterly vacation and 6-month vacation. And that's what. And in the end, see, deep inside, everyone knows who's giving their 100%. Right now, I'm so lucky that everyone is giving their 100%. Right? Yes, we have built a culture and stuff like that. But, again, I think a lot of it has to do with luck, because we are working with great people. And that's what. Next is zero-sum thinking should not be there. Two people can win. Everyone can win. Everyone can get vitamin D from sun if they are willing to go out and sit in the fucking sun every day. Right? अब मैं complexity में नहीं जाना चाहता कि कुछ लोगों की skin में melanin ज़्यादा होता है या नहीं ज़्यादा. But you got the point. Sunshine is for everyone. Success is for everyone. Growth is for everyone who's ready to put in the work consistently. Right? Now let's talk about creating your pathway to clarity. Number one, know your personality based off whatever we have discussed. Know what you can bear, what you can't. जैसे मैंने आपको mention किया, कुछ भी हो जाए, I can't bear politics, right? Especially if I'm working under someone, because, I like being a fair person. That's what I expect from the world. Although that doesn't happen all the time, but that is what. Next is whatever you have chosen, give yourself time. Give yourself at least 6 months and be all in that, right? And you need to play the long-term game. Don't think... See, the thing is, some things which I mentioned in relation to my team and what we would be doing with the team might put a burden on me, right? That, okay, this is something which I said on the podcast, and this is a very public thing to do, right? Especially the income goals. But fact of the matter is, that's a long-term game which I'm playing, and I'm taking full responsibility for that, right? So, like I mentioned, know what you can bear, what you can't. 2 things I can't bear. Number one, not giving 100%. That's a skill which I've learned. Second, politics. Unnecessary politics for no reason because of people's insecurities. And the day I understood that, I specifically worked on removing all insecurities in myself, especially when it comes to competition, my own team and stuff like that. It's because as a leader, it's very easy to think that, I deserve all the attention. But that's wrong. No. Right? Next is give yourself time, 6 months at least, 180 days. If you have joined a job, if you're listening to this, 6 months. If you're already in a job, just ask yourself, just look into the past 6 months. If you're starting your business, at least 6 months. I haven't seen a single case which did not pick up in the first 3 to 4 months, right? I have had a few cases which were a little slower, which started picking up around week 10, week 11. But 6 months is enough time to see growth, right? Next is the most important thing. Give your 100%, put your heart and soul into it. Put your heart and soul into it, because everyone who is in a job or something like that, they think that they are putting their heart and soul into it, but in actuality, they are not. So keep that in mind, work on that, fix that. Also, next is, if you want to start with one. Now, different kinds of people are listening to this. If you want to start with one, start with business first, because job join करने के लिए आपको, there's a procedure which has to go on, right? Business में you can control all aspects, right? Yes, business maybe you'll have to build your service, stuff like that. If you join FBA, we can help you with everything. And stuff like that. So, keep that in mind. So, job में क्या है कि आपको, you'll go through, I'm not sure how it works, interview process, then selection, then job starts, then you start getting some clients, then you see whether politics and all these things are happening or not. That takes a lot of time, right? That would take 8-9 months. That's like, 9 months of your prime of your career. On the other spectrum, see, most people from the third eye view always think that, business is better, right? So that's why if you're starting now, try business first, because you don't have to go through a process. You can start it. If it doesn't work out for you, go for the job, right? But again, the thing is, just consider everything I've mentioned. It's not all sunshine and rainbows on either side. And that is what. And one thing which I strongly believe is that return on investment on your business is much higher. This is my belief. This can be biased because I run businesses. I help people grow businesses. But this is what I believe. But if you are someone who just wants to coach, job is the thing for you. If you're someone who can bear some politics, which might happen, which might not even happen, job might be the thing for you. And again, start with business. If it doesn't work out, go for a job. It's totally fine. And that's what. Also keep in mind, it's not job versus business. It's job and business. Some people fit in the job. Some people fit in the business. So you choose your poison and work for it. Give your heart and soul to that. And guys, questions are always welcomed. You can ask questions. You can DM us and stuff like that. Also, if you want to get taste of business without starting your own business, check out our free resources. Listen to the podcasts, all episodes. Read our long posts. Read our notes, and you will get a lot of clarity. Read the scale manual, and that would give you a lot of clarity as to what all things you would need to do in future. Get taste of business before starting business. Again, by saying such stuff, I might just delay some of the sales. Some of you would have been like that, okay, I want to join FBA now. But I'm telling you very honestly that, first go through our free resources, understand, then, then message us, then we'll see whether we can help you or not. If it is not the right time for you to start, we'll tell you specifically and we'll redirect you to the right resources and stuff like that. And that is what. Questions are always welcomed. Hope this helps. Wish me happy travel. And again, like I mentioned, I'm traveling with my team, with Team FB members. Yes, we have our Bali trip every 6 months as of now. And that is what. And see you soon. And have a great day, great week ahead. And thank you for tuning in. This one was a long podcast, 1.5 hours. But, again, hope this gets you a lot of value. And see you soon. And thank you. And bye. Keep on listening to, keep on watching Better Coach, Better Business. Do not forget the free resources at the Fitness Business Accelerator Instagram page. Every content piece is a resource in itself. All podcast episodes are a resource. Our scale manual. And that is what. Hope this helps. Hope this gives you a lot of clarity. Hope this helped you, even if you don't have a fitness business, even if you have some other business, because, obviously we covered a lot of aspects. And hope this helps. And thank you and bye.